Does anyone else feel like they're running as fast as they can, but somehow not getting ahead? Like you're sprinting every day, checking all the boxes, doing exactly what you were told to do, yet the finish line keeps moving further away. You make more money than you used to. Your salary went up. Your career progressed. On paper, everything looks better. But in real life, the car you thought you could afford now feels impossible. And that disconnect messes with your head because it feels like you're failing even though you're objectively doing better than before. That's not your imagination. You're on an invisible treadmill. You're putting in effort, you're burning energy, but the speed keeps increasing, so your position never changes. Back in 2019, the math made sense. If you earned a decent income, you could buy a decent car and move on with your life. Simple trade. Time for money, money for comfort. But those rules are dead. Quietly. Painfully. Nobody announced it. Nobody warned you. The system just shifted underneath your feet. Cars didn't just get more expensive. Everything around them did too. Interest rates doubled, sometimes tripled. Insurance premiums exploded. Not because you changed, but because the market did. Maintenance costs climbed. Parts, labor, diagnostics, all up. And wages? They barely kept up. So now the same car that felt reasonable a few years ago suddenly feels reckless. So today, I want to answer one uncomfortable question. How much car can you actually buy with your salary without wrecking your financial future? Not the fantasy version of you. Not the version with perfect job security. The real you. I crunched the numbers so you don't have to. And I've got bad news. The biggest lie we've been sold is this idea that a high income equals wealth. It doesn't. Income is not wealth. Say that again, because this is where most people get stuck. Income is not wealth. Wealth is what's left when everything goes wrong, when the paycheck stops, when the company restructures, when life throws something unexpected at you. Because here's the reality nobody likes to admit. Most people earning good money are one layoff away from serious trouble. Not because they're irresponsible, but because their lifestyle is built on monthly payments, not ownership. That car payment doesn't care if your company downsizes. Insurance doesn't pause when your income does. And repairs don't wait for you to feel ready. They just show up at the worst possible time. Most people don't ask, can I afford this car? They ask, can I afford the payment? That single question quietly destroys financial progress because it ignores the full cost, the long-term risk, the opportunity cost. It keeps millions of people stuck looking successful while feeling stressed. So instead of feelings, let's talk math. Here's the rule financially stable people actually follow, the one that doesn't get advertised at dealerships. Your total car value should not exceed about 30 to 35% of your annual gross salary. Not the monthly payment, not what the dealer approves, the total cost, the sticker price, taxes, fees, interest. Once you pass that line, you're not buying a car, you're renting a lifestyle, and rent always goes up. Let's start at the bottom. If you earn between $30,000 and $50,000 a year, the system is stacked against you. There's no polite way to say it. After taxes, you're taking home maybe $2,000 to $3,000 a month. That money already has too many jobs: rent, food, utilities, healthcare. Using the rule, you can realistically afford a car worth about $9,000 to $15,000. That's it. Used, reliable, unexciting. And that's okay. At this level, your car has one job: get you to work without ruining your life. Not impress anyone, not boost your identity, just function. Stretching to a newer car because it's only a few hundred a month is how people stay trapped, because those few hundred never come back. They silently steal your ability to save, to breathe, to recover from mistakes. Your car should be boring right now because exciting mistakes are expensive. Now let's move up. If you earn between $50,000 and $75,000 a year, this is where people start getting into trouble. because now you feel comfortable. You're not struggling the way you used to, but the math still doesn't care. Your real car budget here is roughly $15,000 to $25,000. That means a modest new car or a lightly used one. Nothing flashy, no luxury badges, no long loan terms, no trying to impress anyone who isn't paying your bills. This is the danger zone. People here earn enough to qualify for bad decisions, but not enough to recover from them quickly. A 72-month loan might feel manageable, but it quietly steals your flexibility. It locks future you into past choices. You end up earning decent money while living paycheck to paycheck, not because you don't make enough, but because your fixed costs are choking you. Now let's talk about people earning between $75,000 and $120,000 a year. This is where real choices start to appear. At around $100,000 in income, the math says you can afford a car in the $30,000 to $40,000 range. That opens the door to good vehicles, reliable SUVs, fully loaded sedans, even entry-level electric cars. This is where people finally feel like they've made it. But here's what separates people who stay comfortable from people who build wealth. They don't max this out. They deliberately buy less than they can afford. Because at this level, every extra dollar you don't sink into a depreciating asset has power. It can be invested, saved, used to buy time later. This is where discipline starts paying real dividends. Not overnight, but quietly, relentlessly. Now let's talk about the top 10%, people earning between $120,000 and $250,000 a year. On paper, they can afford luxury cars without blinking. $40,000 to $80,000 vehicles are completely doable, and yet many of them don't do it. Why? Because cars are not status to them, they're friction. Extra decisions, extra attention, extra problems. They don't want surprise repairs. They don't want attention. They don't want mental overhead. They want something that works every time, without drama. That's why so many wealthy people drive paid-off cars, Toyotas, Lexuses, or simple electric vehicles. Not because they can't afford better, but because boring isn't cheap. Boring is freedom. And once you reach the top 1%, people earning over $250,000 a year, something interesting happens. They stop asking how much car they can buy. They ask how little they want to think about it. At that level, a luxury car is a toy, not a milestone, not proof, just an option. Their real flex isn't what's in the driveway. It's the fact that they can walk away from bad situations without panic. Here's what the numbers don't show you. Luxury is loud. Freedom is quiet. The happiest car owners aren't the ones getting attention at stoplights. They're the ones who could quit their job tomorrow and be fine. They're the ones with low stress, low fixed costs, and high control. Rich isn't a vehicle. Rich is autonomy. And once that clicks, everything changes. You stop asking which car makes you look successful, and you start asking which car costs you the least freedom every month. So here's the simple takeaway. If you're early in your journey, buy reliability and survive. If you're in the middle, cap your spending and protect your flexibility. If you're advanced, buy convenience, not validation. Because income is not wealth. Cars are not success, and freedom always beats flexing. So ask yourself this: how much freedom is your car costing you every single month, and is it worth it?